What's up? It's your man DX, and I'm back. I'm gonna do something a little bit different today. This is called a DX remix. Now, from time to time, I'm gonna be doing remixes of my old videos that I made. Some of these I made but never released, and this is gonna be the DX remix. Now, today we're gonna be looking at a video that I never released, and I'm going to add some additional information in between the clips, okay? But first, now, since YT is acting funny style lately about the subscriptions, I have to remind you guys, if you rock with me and you assume you're subscribed to my channel, go ahead and double check, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. If you are new to my channel or new to seeing me on video or listening to my videos, go ahead and click that subscribe button and join our B1 family. We would appreciate it and we welcome you. And everybody, go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and share the video across any platform you want to here on the internets. If you see the reminder bell down at the bottom of this video while it's playing on the right hand side, go ahead and click that reminder bell so that you can be notified whenever I drop a new video. Now, today's DX remix is from a video that I did about 4 months ago. Now, I know you guys remember when the whole controversy about a female named Treasure being on Dr. Phil was saying that she didn't think she was black, that she thought she was white, and she was black as the night, okay? So on this particular video, I made this video after the controversy was over, and just like I predicted, it was all a contrived hoax. So I went on to make this video that I'm talking about today, where I pointed out some of the things about how the news media works and what certain people's roles in the media are. And also I talked about propaganda and what propaganda is and how it's used. Okay, so the first clip here, I'm going to be talking about how propaganda, the word and the deed of propaganda, came about. There is no more destructive, intrusive, and divisive force than mainstream media infotainment, mainly by way of television. If you are a member of the B1 family, what I'm about to say is going to be shocking. It might come as a shock to you. It definitely might be very hard or difficult, I should say, for you to accomplish, but please work toward this goal. Get rid of your cable, satellite, or whatever you have service. Let me let that sink in for a second. We got rid of our cable / satellite almost 8 or 9 years ago now. What do I do for entertainment? Well, I'm an avid movie collector. I have almost 8,000 of those. And anything else I want to see, I just catch it on the internet. That way, I'm not constrained by having some kind of service where they dictate what they put on and all that stuff. I'm not constrained as far as country boundaries. I'm not dictated to what I can see, what I can't see. And I can watch it at any time I want to without having to buy a TiVo or subscribe to TiVo service or however you do it. I don't even know how it works, but I don't have to do any of that. I just download or stream from the internet anything that I want to see. And I enjoy quite a few, well, not quite a few, but a few television shows I enjoy. But I can do without all the extra junk. Okay, so that's the number one issue, is that we need to wean ourselves off of that television, because not only is there like a lot of junk that's supposed to be entertainment, but it's really just corrosive nonsense. But also there's a lot of fake news and there's propaganda mostly. It's all propaganda. And whether you are aware of propaganda or not, it still has a way of seeping in and changing your views and thoughts. And, you know, the person who came up with the term propaganda was Edward Bernays. He was the nephew, twice over, to the famous psychologist Sigmund Freud. He found out the specific number of times that a human being has to hear and see something in order for it to become a permanent part of your subconscious, of your mind. And Edward Bernays not only wrote a book entitled Propaganda, but one of his first endeavors out of college was to hoodwink the American public into believing that the intentions of the American government in World War I were good. And that impression remains to this day. Not only did Edward Bernays come up with the term propaganda, but after World War I, when he saw that the word propaganda had a negative connotation, he also came up with the term public relations as a more acceptable moniker for the same process. One of Bernays' most famous endeavors was he helped the cigarette companies of the time in the late 1920s to convince the public that cigarette smoking was feminine. So it ended up having the effect of making women just as addicted to cigarettes as men. And so to this day, he is known as the father of modern day advertising. So in my mind, that is the first issue that arose, is this issue of the corrosive and destructive nature of mainstream media infotainment. So one of the things about doing videos and placing content up on YouTube that's always irked me is that consumers of that content, people who patronize YouTube, tend to treat everybody the same, like it's one big old soup and everybody has the same background, the same expertise, which is not true. So I go on in this video today that I'm talking about to explain on-air personalities in the news media and what each of the different roles are and how they differ from each other. And I think you'll find this part interesting. Take a look. I graduated from a prominent college in California, majored in journalism, have my journalism degree. Okay. I worked for the first and probably, I believe, was the only at the time black-owned newspaper or publication in Northern California. After doing a year or so internship at the governor's office of media relations. This was back during the term of Pete Wilson, governor of California. So I worked there for a year as an intern. Then I went on to the black newspaper, the only one in Northern California, called the Sacramento Observer. I worked there for 3 years as a reporter and as eventually as a junior editor. Then I moved on to a couple of mainstream news outlets, one on radio and one on television. So combining all of those, I worked in the corporate sector of media for about 5 years. Okay, so then I decided that the corporate media was doing more damage to my people than almost anything else that was going on, whether it was drugs in the community or police or anything. The corporate media was not helping my people. So then I moved on from there to start my own company. I started that 20 years ago. It was print media that eventually evolved into internet media, which has helped my people find careers and jobs for one thing, and also stay abreast of certain issues. And I've done that for 20 years. So I am a trained journalist who has years or decades of experience doing what I do. That's who I am, to be able to criticize, feel, and there are all these other people on YouTube who are just YouTubers. And one thing you need to understand about these people from the gate is that most of them are not professionally trained as journalists, as reporters, or as just commentators. Okay, we're going to get into those three areas of news media in a second here. But most of these people are not professionally trained. A lot of them are not even professional, meaning acting in professional, speaking in professional ways and acting in professional ways. Most of them don't even do that. And the biggest majority of them don't know any of the protocol as far as journalism or reporting or editorializing. So most of these people are in it for the views and the money. And that's what you need to understand about most of these people on YouTube. Your man DX here is not a YouTuber. I'm a trained journalist and a business owner, okay, who decided to go ahead and start making videos on YouTube. So that's why it burns me up sometimes when these people approach me, just like they would approach Mr. Advice or Tariq or Cynthia G or Paris Milan or even Willie D. None of these people are trained. And I'm not just like shitting all over these people. I'm just saying I come at it from a different perspective, and I'm not a YouTuber. And I'm using the air quotes when I say that. So going more in depth about news media. In the field of print and television and radio media, news media, we have three categories. There are reporters, there are journalists, and there are commentators and anchors and hosts. Okay, so what exactly are each one of these positions, and what do they do when they are actually functioning properly and in their correct capacities? First, you have a reporter. Now that job is very similar to being a journalist. The difference is in duration of work. A reporter collects facts in the short term about a particular story or event. A journalist engages in long-term fact collecting about a particular issue, concern, more broader scope, and a longer time frame at collecting facts. A commentator or a host or a anchor person, let's just go with commentator, which is what most of these people on YouTube are. They're commentators. So a commentator is somebody who editorializes, okay? And that would include whether it's in newspapers, radio, television, on the internet, on videos, on YouTube. It's an editorial. It's mainly just your opinion. Now, that even requires some training, because you have to know how to separate actual facts from strictly opinion. And you have to know how to artfully combine the two. And you have to be able to relay your points and your opinions in an effective manner. So, in the field of news media, when you're covering anything as a reporter, as a journalist, or as a commentator, you must know how to compile all the elements of fact collection. And that would be who, what, when, where, how, and why. What you do is you collect as many of those that you can. and you organize those. I say as many of those as you can because sometimes some of those elements are not available to you. So you do the best you can to collect as much of all 6 of those as you can. Who, what, when, where, how, and why. And the host or anchor person, I don't think I really need to explain what that is. That's just the person who presents whatever the final work is to the public, okay? But have you ever wondered why you never see your man DX come on right when a story breaks and just start flapping my gums about it without having any true definition about things? You know, you ever wonder why you never see me do that? It's because my journalistic training and journalistic integrity doesn't allow me to do that, because the number one rule in journalism is until you have enough solid information pertaining to who, what, when, where, how, and why, you don't present anything. That's the number one rule. And so when the story about Treasure from the Dr. Phil show broke, I collected information about it, did a little research, because I was trying to learn as much about it as I could before I opened my mouth. You see, certain people didn't do that. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's DX remix. I'll be doing this from time to time, where I'll be taking videos from the past that I made that I may or may not have released. And I'm going to be showing clips and presenting new information, updated information, or just additional information on those. And I guess that's it for me today. But first, let me remind you that if you are my supporter and you know that you rock with me and you know that you have subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and double check and verify that you are in fact still subscribed to my channel. If this is your first time watching one of my videos or your first time knowing about my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join the B1 family. And everybody, like the video, share the video across other platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And if you see a notification bell on the right hand side down at the bottom while this video is playing, go ahead and click that notification bell so that you can be notified when I drop a new video. And as always, this is your man DX, and I am out.